My wife sneakily removed my name from our property, so I made sure she lost it all. I, 37M, never expected my marriage of 12 years to end in such a cold, calculated betrayal. But as they say, you never truly know someone until you divorce them. Alison and I met in our mid-20s. She was ambitious, smart, and we shared similar goals. We both wanted financial stability before having kids. So we worked hard, saved aggressively, and eventually bought our dream home, a beautiful 4-bedroom house in a good neighborhood, 5 years ago. The house cost us $475,000. My inheritance from my grandfather, $180,000, covered about 40% of our down payment. The rest came from our joint savings, and we got a decent 30-year mortgage. Both our names were on all the paperwork, or so I thought. Things started changing about 2 years ago. Alison became distant, working late, and spending weekends with the girls. Then, 4 months ago, I found emails. Alison had been having an affair with her boss, Richard, for over a year. When I confronted her, instead of apologizing, she told me she'd outgrown me and wanted a divorce. I agreed to an amicable split. We'd sell the house, divide assets fairly, and move on. I even offered to move out temporarily while we sorted things. Big mistake. 2 weeks after moving into a small apartment, I called our mortgage company to discuss the sale process. The customer service rep seemed confused. "Sir, according to our records, you're not listed on this mortgage." My stomach dropped. She explained the mortgage had been refinanced 6 months ago, with only Alison's name on it. I checked with the county records office. Sure enough, the deed had been transferred to Alison's name only. When I called Alison, she laughed. "It's my house now. My lawyer says possession is 9/10 of the law. You left willingly, remember? Besides, most of our mortgage payments came from my salary anyway." That was a lie. We'd contributed equally to mortgage payments, and my inheritance had paid for a significant portion of the down payment. "What about my inheritance money?" I asked. "What about it? We were married. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is, well, mine too." Then she hung up. I immediately called a lawyer. Lisa was a shark. Expensive, but worth every penny. "She committed fraud," Lisa said. "She forged your signature on documents. That's illegal." We filed an emergency petition with the court and started building our case. Meanwhile, Alison moved Richard into our house. Her Instagram showed them remodeling my kitchen, hosting dinner parties with our friends. She even posted a pic with the caption, "Upgrade complete, 100, with Richard kissing her cheek. Her sister, Jen, commented, "So happy you dumped the dead weight. You deserve this." That hurt. Then Alison's mum called to tell me I should be a man and move on because Alison and Richard were soulmates. I didn't respond. While they were playing house, I was working with my lawyer, building an airtight case. Update. Investigation reveals more than I bargained for. My lawyer suggested hiring a private investigator to document Alison and Richard's comings and goings. The PI delivered info that was enlightening. Turns out Richard was still technically married, separated for 2 years, but not divorced. His wife, Camille, had no idea he was living with Alison. I contacted Camille through social media. We met for coffee. She'd been trying to serve Richard divorce papers for months, but he kept dodging her lawyer. She'd also suspected he was hiding assets. He told the court he's been struggling financially since our separation, she said. But he drives a new BMW and takes luxury vacations. The court awarded me minimal temporary support based on his claimed income. I showed her the Instagram posts of them renovating my kitchen, $22,000 worth of work, according to receipts the PI found. She actually cried. That son of a bitch told the judge he couldn't afford child support increases for our daughter's medical needs. We agreed to help each other. Meanwhile, Alison escalated her entitled behavior. She texted, "BTW, I donated all your remaining stuff to Goodwill. It was cluttering my garage." This included my grandfather's antique fishing gear and my dad's vinyl collection. When I didn't respond, she called repeatedly. "You're being childish," she said in message number 7. "Richard and I are trying to move forward, and your pettiness is exhausting. My lawyer says you have no case. Oh, and Milo likes Richard better anyway. Milo's our dog." Lisa discovered something critical. Alison hadn't just forged my signature on the refinancing docs. She'd done it right after receiving a promotion at work, a promotion that Richard, her boss, had awarded her. "This changes things," Lisa said. "It adds a potential conspiracy angle and workplace ethics violations. We filed an amended complaint with the court. I also reported the situation to Richard's company's HR department anonymously, suggesting improper workplace conduct." The day after our court filing, I received 16 calls from Alison. I replied with a single message. "What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Talk to my lawyer." Then I blocked her. 2 days later, Jen showed up at my apartment, screaming about how I was a vindictive asshole. My neighbor recorded the whole thing and called security. Jen threatened that Richard has connections and I should watch my back. I sent the video to my lawyer, who filed for a restraining order against Jen. Meanwhile, Camille filed emergency motions in her divorce case, including evidence of Richard's actual living situation and finances. The court date for our emergency petition was set. Lisa was confident. They committed mortgage fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. Then I received an email from Alison's lawyer offering to settle. They proposed selling the house and splitting proceeds 50-50. I laughed. My counteroffer, the house transferred back to both our names as originally recorded, plus $90,000 in damages, or we'd pursue both civil and criminal remedies. Update. The House of Cards begins to collapse. Richard's company put him on administrative leave pending investigation into improper workplace conduct and potential misuse of authority. Turns out, several other female employees had previously complained about him, but those complaints mysteriously disappeared. Alison texted me in a panic. "What have you done? Richard's being investigated at work. This is all your fault." She called 43 times that day. I sent one text that changed everything. "Fraud is a felony in this state. 5 to 10 years. Hope the house was worth it." Radio silence after that. Our court date arrived. Alison showed up looking like hell. Dark circles, messy hair, wearing sweatpants. She never wears sweatpants in public. Richard wasn't with her. Her lawyer kept whispering urgently in her ear. Just before proceedings began, Alison's lawyer approached Lisa requesting a hallway conversation. They returned with a settlement offer. Alison would transfer the house back to both our names. She'd pay me $100,000 for emotional damages. I'd agree not to pursue criminal charges. I counted. House transferred solely to my name. $890,000 for my inheritance contribution, plus $40,000 for legal fees. Written admission of fraud. No criminal charges. They accepted, with one modification. The admission would be sealed and only available to the court. As we were leaving, Alison tried to approach me. "Alex, please, can we talk? I never meant..." Lisa stepped between us. "All communication through counsel." Alison's face crumpled. "But what about Milo? You're not going to take him too, are you? You said Milo likes Richard better, remember?" I replied, though I wasn't actually planning to take him from her. That night, Alison's mom called, begging me to show mercy to her daughter. I didn't call back. The next day, Camille texted me. Richard's been served divorce papers. She attached a news article. Richard's company had discovered financial irregularities connected to Alison's promotion and several property investments. They'd fired him and were cooperating with authorities. 2 days later, Lisa called with news. Richard had been arrested for embezzling company funds. Alison wasn't charged as an accomplice, but her reputation at work was destroyed. She was being encouraged to resign. Per our agreement, Alison transferred the house deed to my name and wired $130,000. Alison and Richard moved out the following weekend. She took Milo with her, which I was fine with. Despite my petty comment at court, I knew separating them would be cruel. As I was cleaning out Alison's home office, I found a journal. The entries detailed her affair with Richard, including his promises to make her a company wife once his divorce was finalized. One passage stuck with me. A is a good man, but he's so content with our ordinary life. Richard shows me how extraordinary I could be. I deserve extraordinary. I closed the journal and put it in the box with her other things. Final update. 6 months later. After moving back into my house, I spent weeks purging reminders of Alison. Repainted every room, bought new furniture, replanted the garden. I needed to reclaim the space as mine. Alison continued trying to contact me through mutual friends, creating new phone numbers, even sending a handwritten letter. I maintained no contact. Just give her 5 minutes. Our friend Marcus told me. She's a wreck, man. Lost her job, moved in with her parents. She knows she fucked up. Actions have consequences, I replied. Threw myself into work and therapy. Dr. Reeves helped me process the anger and betrayal without letting it consume me. About 3 months after the settlement, I received a message from Camille. Richard had pled guilty to embezzlement and fraud charges, reduced sentence in exchange for cooperation. He got 18 months in a minimum security facility. She'd finalized her divorce, gotten full custody of their daughter, and was rebuilding her life. As for Alison, after losing her job, she struggled to find equivalent work. Her involvement in the scandal raised red flags with potential employers. She ended up taking a position, making about half her previous salary. 4 months after our settlement, she showed up at my door unannounced. Thinner, with dark roots showing in her usually perfect blonde hair. Please, Alex, 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat on my new couch, looking around at the transformed space. You changed everything. Yes. She took a deep breath. I'm sorry. What I did was unforgivable. I got caught up in Richard's promises, in the fantasy he was selling. I convinced myself I deserved more, that taking shortcuts was justified. I stayed silent. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I did. The house, your inheritance money, I let greed and ego override my integrity. I'm paying for it now. Where's Milo? I asked. With my parents. I'm working such long hours now that it wasn't fair to him. He wiped her eyes. He misses you. You were always his favorite, no matter what bullshit I said. Something in me softened slightly. Not forgiveness, just exhaustion with anger. Alison, I appreciate the apology, but we've both moved on. She nodded, stood up. I know. I think about what I threw away every day. Not just the material stuff, the trust, the partnership. You were a good husband, Alex. As she turned to leave, I felt a weight lifting. Alison, I called after her. Milo should be with someone who's home enough to care for him properly. If you'd like, he could stay here sometimes. The look of gratitude on her face was genuine. I'd like that. He'd like that. 2 weeks later, she dropped him off for the weekend. Seeing him bound through the door, tail wagging furiously, was the happiest I'd felt in months. Life has settled into a new normal now. The house is completely mine. I've been promoted at work. I'm not ready for serious dating yet, but I'm getting there. Alison and I communicate solely about Milo. She's living with her parents while saving for a place of her own. Richard is still serving his sentence. His ex-wife Camille is thriving. She took their daughter to Disney World with the back child support he was forced to pay.
Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh in my pursuit of justice, but then I remember finding those refinancing documents, hearing Alison laugh about stealing my inheritance, seeing her and Richard renovating my kitchen with my money while I sat in a crappy apartment. No, consequences were deserved. Justice was served. The strangest part? I'm actually happier now than I was in the final years of our marriage. More at peace. My house truly feels like mine. My life feels authentic. If there's a lesson here, maybe it's this. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. And don't let anyone steal what's rightfully yours, whether it's property, money, or dignity.